Joe Kent says he resigned over the Iran war, but was that really the full story? Alright, so let us talk about this whole situation with Joe Kent, because a lot of people are not fully buying the official story. Now, according to him, he resigned over the Iran war. He says he could not support it, he did not agree with it, and he stepped down on principle. Okay, that is the official version. But here is where things start to get interesting. There is another narrative going around, and I am not saying this is confirmed, but this is what a lot of people are saying online and in political circles. Some believe that this resignation was not really voluntary. They think he knew something was coming, because at the same time all of this is happening, there are reports that he was under investigation for allegedly leaking classified information. Now again, that is an allegation, not a proven fact. But the timing raises questions. People are looking at this and saying, wait a minute, you have got an investigation happening in the background. You have got him being reportedly pushed out of certain conversations, and then suddenly he resigns? So the theory goes like this. What if this was not just about the war? What if he saw the writing on the wall? What if he knew there was a real possibility he was going to be removed anyway, and decided to step down first? Because let us be honest, resigning looks a lot different than being fired. One gives you control of the narrative, the other does not. And in politics, timing is everything. Now to be fair, there are also people who genuinely believe his explanation. They say this fits his past views. They say he has been consistent on being against foreign wars, and that this was a principled stand. So now you have got two completely different interpretations. One side says this was about values. The other side says this was about pressure and damage control. And the truth? Right now, we do not have full confirmation either way. But what we do know is this. When a resignation lines up this closely with an investigation, people are going to ask questions. And honestly, that is not unreasonable. Because in today's political climate, it is very rare that something like this has just one simple explanation. So the real question is, was this a stand on principle? Or was this a strategic exit before something bigger dropped? That is what people are trying to figure out. Now here is where things get even more interesting with Joe Kent, because people started digging, and a clip from 2024 is now resurfacing online. In that clip, he is talking about Iran as a real threat. He brings up how U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria were attacked over 150 times by Iranian-backed proxies. And he makes it clear, these are not random groups. These are forces tied directly to Iran. So let us be honest. Back then, he clearly saw Iran as dangerous. So now the question becomes, if Iran was a serious threat then, why step down now over a war involving Iran? Did something change? Did the situation change? Or is this about something bigger than just Iran? If he believed Iran was a threat, why not deal with the threat now?
Topic also resurfacing on social media, including this clip from 2024 when Kent laid out how much of an enemy and threat Iran is.
Our troops in Iraq and Syria have been attacked 150 plus times by Iranian proxies. And when we say Iranian proxies, we got to be clear on what that is. That's the Iraqi government that we pay.
Meanwhile, top administration officials.
All right, so now this story just took another turn because there has been a growing claim going around that Israel, specifically Benjamin Netanyahu, basically dragged the United States and even Donald Trump into a war with Iran. That is what a lot of critics are saying. They are arguing that this was not really America's fight, that the U.S. got pulled into it. But now, Netanyahu is responding directly to that claim. And he is not just denying it, he is calling it ridiculous. He says Trump does not get dragged into anything, that he makes his own decisions and fully understands the threat Iran poses. So in his view, this was not Israel pulling strings. This was a joint decision based on what they believe is a real and serious threat. Now, whether you agree with that or not, that is where the debate is. Because on one side, you have got people saying the U.S. was influenced into this. And on the other side, you have got Netanyahu saying, no, America chose this on its own. So I want you to watch this clip for yourself.
With one other fake news, and that is that Israel somehow dragged the U.S. into a conflict with Iran. Does anyone really think that someone can tell President Trump what to do? Come on. President Trump always makes his decisions on what he thinks is good for America And may I add, I think what is also good for future generations.
All right, now this is where things really start to fall apart for the narrative, because we have been hearing that Trump is losing his base over the Iran situation, that Medjie is turning on him, that this war is dividing his supporters. But then you have this moment on CNN where they go over the latest polling from March 18th, and even they had to admit something that completely contradicts that story. According to their own data, Trump's approval among his core base is basically at 100%. Let that sink in. 100%. Now, whether that is exactly 100 or just statistically near total, the point is clear. His base is not leaving him. If anything, they are completely locked in. So now you have got a serious disconnect, because the media is pushing one narrative, but the data even on CNN showing something very different. So I want you to watch this clip.
MAGA feel about the president right now?
Yeah, you know, sometimes you look at the polling data and there are numbers that just jump off the screen at you, and this is one of those. Because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approved 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins. Now, there are some Republicans who disapprove of Donald John Trump, but they are not members of the Make America Great Again movement. The bottom line is this: if you are a member of MAGA, you approve. And when we look at the numbers, I mean, I've heard some people say, oh, you know what, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look here. Americans who identify as MAGA, in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher at 30%. The bottom line is this: the MAGA base within the GOP is not shrinking. It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024 when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is on that MAGA base. You know, we mentioned Iran in the intro of this segment. GOP on U.S. military action.
So now not MAGA, GOP.
MAGA, it's 90% approval. It's 90% approval, just 5% disapproval. If you disapprove of the job that Donald Trump is doing, or excuse me, the U.S. military action in Iran, and you're a member of the GOP, look at this. It's your non-MAGA. You're non-MAGA. It's 36% there, 54% approved. But the majority of Republicans approve of the job that the U.S. military action is in Iran, and the majority of MAGA, which is the majority of the GOP, very much approve, 90%. Very little split in Donald Trump's base. Those who disapprove in the GOP, simply put, they hate MAGA.
It's really clear MAGA has the floor.
All right, so now we just saw the clip. Even CNN, the network that is constantly talking about Trump losing his base, had to admit it. His core supporters are still 100% behind him. 100%. Think about that for a second. All the headlines saying Trump is losing support over Iran. All the pundits claiming the Medjie base is abandoning him. It is just not true. The narrative does not match reality. And that tells us something important. In politics, your core base is everything. If your most loyal supporters are still with you, the media can spin whatever story they want. Yep, does not matter. Now, let us tie this back to everything we have been talking about in this video. Joe Kent resigning, Netanyahu responding, the Iran war. There is a lot of confusion and misinformation out there, but the facts speak for themselves. Trump's base is not going anywhere. And for anyone watching closely, it is clear that this whole Iran story is being overblown by the media. So here is the takeaway. Do not believe every headline. Look at the data, look at the numbers, and understand who really matters in politics. People who actually vote and stand by their leader. If you want more videos like this breaking down the news, the real stories behind the headlines, and giving you the facts the media will not tell you, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to see the truth. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the media will ever admit how strong Trump's support actually is? Or will they keep pushing the same false narrative? I want to hear what you think. And remember, always think for yourself, question everything, and do not let the spin fool you. That is what this channel is about. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Stay sharp, stay informed, and stay common sense.